Hello and a very warm welcome. If you've ever found yourself just lost in a sea of tech product names feeling completely overwhelmed, well, you've come to the right place. We're going to tell a little story today, one that's designed to turn all that confusion into clarity, and maybe show you a much simpler way to understand a pretty complex world.
So I want you to picture this. It's late in the evening. The world outside has gone quiet, and the only real sound is the soft, gentle hum of a computer.
There's a single desk lamp on, and it's casting this warm, little circle of light. And right in that light, someone is working away, their face just illuminated by the soft glow of a laptop screen. For our story, let's call them Alex.
But what's on that screen? Oh, it's just a maze. A huge, long list of product names that all sound kind of similar, but also impossibly different. It is just overwhelming. It's confusing. And you know what? It's a feeling I bet many of us know all too well.
Alex just leans back in the chair, lets out this long sigh, and asks the very question that might be on your mind right now. Why are there so many of them? Do I really have to learn what all of these do? What even is all this stuff? And right there, that's where our story really begins. Because, you see, the answer isn't buried in some long list of product features. No, the answer is found when you look at it from a completely different angle. See, companies, they don't really start with products. They start with problems.
Okay, so let's imagine the very first problem. It's a normal day at Alex's company, but there's a new demand starting to echo through the halls. People want flexibility. They need to get to their work from anywhere, on any device they own, and they want it to feel exactly like they're sitting right there in the office.
So the big question is, how do you solve that without just creating chaos, or worse, a security nightmare? Well, the answer turned out to be a really simple, elegant idea. Just let people use their office desktops and all their apps remotely. But, and this is the important part, keep all the company data safe and sound in one place. That's it. That is the entire reason Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops even exists. It's not just a product, it's the solution to that big remote work problem.
But then, as more and more people start working from home, a brand new problem starts to creep in, and this one feels a little more sinister. The company has to know, who is logging into our network? Are they really who they say they are? Is their internet connection secure? All of a sudden, it feels like the front door to the entire company has been left wide open.
And that's exactly where you need a gatekeeper. That's what Citrix Gateway is. It's not there to do the work, it's there to stand guard, right at the front entrance, checking every single ID, verifying every connection, and just making sure that only the right people get inside. Think of it like a digital bouncer for the company.
Now, let's think for a second about the folks behind the scenes, the IT team. They are really feeling the pressure. I mean, they're juggling servers, they're pushing updates, doing maintenance. They're spending all their time just trying to keep the lights on instead of helping people do their best work. They're human, right? And they're getting burned out.
And that's a very human problem, which means it needs a human solution. That solution is Citrix Cloud. It's not some kind of magic. It's just about simplicity. It takes all that pressure of managing complex infrastructure and pulls it all into one central place. It gives the IT team one clear dashboard to control everything, which frees them up to focus on what really, truly matters, the people they're there to support.
Meanwhile, there's another, quieter problem that's spreading through the company, almost without anyone noticing. People are sharing really important files as email attachments or on their personal USB drives, using all sorts of unsecured apps. Sensitive, private data is just leaking out, and nobody has any control over it. So to fix that hidden danger, you have ShareFile. It was designed for one simple purpose, to give people a secure and controlled way to share and sync their files. It basically puts up guardrails around the company's most valuable information, just to make sure it always stays protected.
And finally, we get to maybe the biggest threat of them all, the wide open internet. I mean, every single time an employee browses the web, they risk letting a threat in. And all of the company's own private applications, the ones that actually run the business, they need to be shielded from that outside world.
This is exactly why Citrix Secure Access Solutions were created. They act like a protective shield for both browsing the public internet and for getting into those private company apps. They exist for one simple reason. Not all networks are safe, and every company has to reduce that risk.
So, back at the desk, under that warm glow of the lamp, Alex looks at the screen again. But something's different this time. The fog of confusion, it's starting to lift.
There's this moment of quiet, a pause, and then it all just clicks into place. Those names on the screen, they're not a random list anymore. They're answers.
Alex suddenly sees the pattern. Each and every one of these products, it exists for a reason. It was never about technology just for technology's sake. First, a real human business problem popped up. Then, people needed a safe, controlled way to solve it, and only then was a product created to be the answer.
And with this newfound clarity, Alex grabs a notepad and just starts to reframe the entire thing. It's not a confusing list of products anymore. No, it's a toolbox.
And this is what Alex came up with. A simple, clear map. The problem is remote work? Okay, the tool is virtual apps and desktops. The problem is secure login? The tool is Gateway. The problem is too much IT management? The tool is Citrix Cloud. Need to share files securely? ShareFile. Safe internet access? Secure Access. All of a sudden, it's not about fear or trying to memorize a bunch of names. It's just about having the right tool for the right problem.
That feeling of being totally lost in a maze, it's gone. And it's been replaced by the quiet confidence of holding a map. The story isn't about memorizing names at all. It's about understanding why.
So the really big lesson here is incredibly simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. Products only exist because problems existed first. As soon as you understand the problem that someone is trying to solve, the name of the tool they use to solve it starts to make perfect sense.
And that right there is the secret. Citrix isn't some complex maze that you have to navigate all at once. It's a toolbox filled with very specific tools designed for very specific jobs. You just pick up the one you need, one tool at a time.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you have a map instead of a maze, what problem will you solve first? Thank you so much for listening.